Hi, I'm Lindsay Bishop, the Training and Media Associate at Westchester University. Today we're going to go over 8 strategies to live a more positive life. The handout included with this presentation will provide you with ways in which you can implement each of the strategies that we talk about today. Before we get started, let's go over what is positivity. Our overall well-being is affected by 3 main factors, including our genetic makeup, our environment, as well as our thoughts and actions. Although you can't exactly control your genetics and the environment, you can control your thoughts and actions, and that's what we'll look at today. A great way to improve your well-being and the overall quality of your life is being a more positive person. That is having a positive attitude and being aware and in control of your thoughts and actions. Positivity also has longer-term impacts on our view of ourselves, our relationship with others, and on the world. Positive feelings can change our mind and our bodies in ways that greatly enhance our physical and mental well-being and the overall quality of our lives. So why is positivity important? Positivity helps us create a greater level of happiness and a more fulfilling life. Being positive will help you inspire others and yourself. Positivity helps lower stress levels and makes difficult situations easier to handle. It reduces anxiety and depression. Positive people live longer. One study examined 660 people over 23 years and found that those who felt positive about getting older lived an average of 7.5 years longer than those with a negative outlook on aging. Another study by a group of scientists monitored the mental attitudes of 369 hospital patients over a period of 46 months. Their research found that the most pessimistic patients were twice as likely to suffer a more serious health condition over 4 years. Positivity also leads to high-quality relationships. People feel more connected. They make favorable judgments of one another. They're more sociable and are more willing to cooperate and help others when they experience positive emotions. Positivity also greatly benefits the workplace. It minimizes turnover. A major cause of turnover is burnout, including stress and boredom, which positivity definitely helps with. It leads to higher job performance. It helps you achieve goals. Positive communication allows for more optimal experiences, increased exchange of information, higher quality interactions, better coordination, increased effectiveness, and more creative results. Employees who are appreciative, enthusiastic, kind, and willing to help others with a good attitude often stand out and are recognized by both leaders and other employees. Although you may not be able to change the environment or the layout of your office, you can create a more welcoming, stress-free, and even fun atmosphere. So how can we bring more positivity to our lives? I'm going to give you 8 strategies to live a more positive life. Some of these may surprise you, some may not. But the research is clear that implementing these strategies will help bring more positivity to your life. So the first strategy we're going to talk about today is eliminating negativity. Negativity causes stress for yourself and others. It creates doubt and worries, which produces unpleasant feelings, makes you feel stressed, anxious, depressed, which then affects what you do and demotivates you and causes you to fail. So what is negativity? Negativity includes negative thoughts, complaining, venting, showing anger, blaming, pointing out others' flaws, making others feel guilty, peer pressuring, quitting, or giving up. Not only does it drain you, but it drains those around you as well. Avoid doing these negative behaviors yourself and try to minimize interactions with those who bring you down with negativity. Although you can't change their nature and you may have to interact with them, you can at least try to minimize interactions when possible. So think about some of the behaviors that you and others are doing that negatively impact your everyday life. For 1 week, I challenge you to write down those negative behaviors, what it was, and one thing you can do or stop doing to prevent those negative behaviors in the future. Then give it a try and see how eliminating those behaviors can impact your life. Our second strategy to live more positively is to view stress differently. New research suggests that stress may only be bad for you if you believe that to be the case. One study tracked 30,000 adults in the U.S. over 8 years. Participants were asked the question, do you believe that stress is harmful to your health? People who experienced a lot of stress had a 43% increased risk of dying. But that was only true for the people who believed that stress was harmful. People who experienced a lot of stress but did not view stress as harmful had the lowest risk of dying of anyone else in the study, including those who have experienced relatively little stress. Another study conducted at Harvard University also took a look at the way we view stress. Before students were given a social stress test, a few were taught to view the symptoms of stress, such as a pounding heart, breathing faster, sweating, as helpful, as getting your body prepared to perform. Participants who learned to see stress as helpful for their performance were less stressed out, less anxious, and more confident. Their physical response also changed, although they still had the same symptoms as stress, the heavy breathing, the pounding heart. Instead of their blood vessels contracting as they typically do when they're stressed, they actually stayed the same. In fact, the blood vessels showed a similar physical response in moments of joy and courage. So when you change your mind about stress, you can actually change your body's response to stress. So rather than viewing it as a problem, view it as an opportunity to make things better. Think about what happens when you get stressed or nervous. How are these behaviors preparing your body to perform? And how can you view stress differently in order to be more successful? Our third tip for a more positive life is to exercise. When you exercise, your body releases chemicals called endorphins. Endorphins trigger a positive feeling in the body, producing a more positive and energizing outlook on life. Exercise has also been proven to reduce stress, ward off feelings of anxiety and depression, and boost self-esteem. According to a study by University of Bristol researchers who followed a group of 200 university employees, people who exercised on workdays were more productive, suffered less stress, and were overall happier than on non-gym days. Exercise doesn't have to be something you dread. Find a workout that appeals to you. If you don't like running, take a walk or go swimming. If the thought of thinking of a workout routine each day worries you, join a class that will help you along the way. If the thought of a gym scares you, find a mini workout to do in the comfort of your own home. Try to keep a log of your exercise routine and your mood and outlook each day, and find a correlation between your workout and your moods. The fourth strategy to live a positive life is body language. This one may come as a surprise to you. Body language can not only affect how others see us, but it can also change the way we feel about ourselves. Let's start with facial expressions. A study led by Michigan State University business scholars followed a group of bus drivers over a 2-week period. Some participants were told to partake in surface acting, which is putting on a fake smile, while other participants were told to do deep acting, which is cultivating positive emotions by recalling pleasant moments. The study suggests that participants who put on a fake smile throughout the day actually saw a drop in their mood, but workers who smiled as a result of cultivating positive thoughts improved their mood significantly. Now let's take a look at posture. Power posing can have a significant impact on the way we see ourselves and how we react to situations. To test this theory, social psychologist Amy Cuddy looked at the testosterone and cortisol levels in the brain. Participants of a study adopted either a high or low power pose for 2 minutes. High power poses, as you can see, are open, they're expansive, and they take up space. Low power poses are folding up and making yourself small. Saliva samples were taken before and after these poses, and the results showed that those who took on high power poses experienced a 20% increase in testosterone levels, which is the dominance hormone, as opposed to participants in the low power poses who experienced a 10% decrease. High power pose participants had a 25% decrease in cortisol, the stress hormone, while low power pose participants experienced a 15% increase. So these results show that high power poses can result in more confidence and less stress, ultimately creating a more positive view of yourself and life. Cuddy's second study looked at the effects of power posing in real-life situations. Participants were brought in for a job interview, and before they went into the interview, they were either told to hold a high or low power pose for 2 minutes. They then went on to the interview for 5 minutes with judges who were trained to give no nonverbal feedback. Participants who stood in high power poses were more likely to get selected for the job than those who stood in low power poses, as they displayed a much more confident and welcoming presence. So these studies show that our bodies can change our minds can change our behavior, and our behavior can change our outcomes. So if we just think and act positively, we can become more positive and therefore live a positive lifestyle. So try it out. When you're having a bad day, think of a pleasant memory, one that brings you joy. Anytime you start to have a negative thought, think back to that special memory and see how it affects your mood. Also practice power posing. When you're feeling nervous about an upcoming meeting or a speech, hold a high power pose for just 2 minutes. See how it changes the way you view yourself and the situation. Our next strategy to living more positively is mindfulness. Mindfulness is a state that is characterized by introspection, openness, reflection, and acceptance of oneself. It creates positive attitudes towards oneself and decreases negative ones. Studies suggest that mindfulness has a significant effect in positive thinking, life satisfaction, and overall well-being. One study from the University of Oregon found that people who practice integrative mindfulness had better moods than those who did not practice. Practicing mindfulness does not have to require sitting cross-legged on the floor. It's just about focusing on the present moment, the here and the now, rather than letting yourself get distracted by thoughts of the past or future. Meditative techniques are designed to focus the mind while reducing the brain chatter that can make it difficult to think clearly. One Harvard study found that humans spend 47% of their day lost in thought. These constant thoughts can make you anxious and unproductive. Spending just 10 minutes a day being mindful can not only stop you from having those constant thoughts, but allow you to view them in a whole new perspective. In the handout provided with this video, we've provided an easy mindfulness activity to help you get started. Make it a point to practice mindfulness for just 10 minutes a day for a week and see what kind of results you find. Another strategy to live more positively is to discover your strengths. Strengths are personal characteristics that allow us to perform well or at our personal best. They're areas that we learn fast, and we often find ourselves drawn to using them in different areas of our lives, both at work and at home. Oftentimes, others will recognize us for our strengths. Using our strengths can significantly improve the quality of our lives. Psychologists in the U.S. have found that people who tried to use their strengths in new ways each day for a week were happier and less depressed 6 months later. So write down your top strengths, things that energize you or things that people would recognize you for. And if you don't know, ask. Then think about these questions. How do I use this already? In what areas of my life do I use it? What are some areas in my life that I could use it more? And what are other ways I could use it? Every day over the next week, try to use these strengths in new ways or areas of your life. Expressing gratitude can also lead to a positive life. One study compared people keeping a list of blessings with people keeping a list of their hassles. And they found that the blessings group were 25% happier than the group that was focusing on hassles. Another study by the team at Soul Pancake shows that expressing gratitude towards others increases happiness. First, they studied the current level of happiness in participants in the survey. They had participants write down a person who has made an impact on them and why. Then, they made participants call the person they chose and read them what they wrote about them. After the call, they gave participants the same survey, but mixed up the words and questions. They found that participants' happiness was increased by up to 19% from when they walked in the door. What's more interesting is those who showed the least amount of happiness upon arrival were among the ones who showed the most happiness by the end of the study. This shows that when you express gratitude towards others, it has a greater impact on your happiness. So try it out. Keep a list of the things that you're grateful for and express your gratitude towards others. Our last strategy is to keep a positive attitude. Think about the last time you had a negative interaction with someone. How did it make you feel? According to a study by researchers from Harvard Medical School that looked at nearly 5,000 individuals over a period of 20 years, happiness spreads through social networks like an emotional contagion. They found that when an individual becomes happy, the network effect can be measured up to 3 degrees, meaning that one person's happiness triggers a chain reaction that benefits not only his friends, but his friends' friends, and his friends' friends' friends. The effect lasts for up to 1 year. Your attitude is one of the few things in life over which you have control. Having a positive attitude can affect your life both at home and at work. When you display a good attitude, those around you will too. This can be especially important in the workplace to create a friendlier, inviting atmosphere. So try it out. Make it a point to do one small act of kindness each day. There are so many ways you can display kindness. Hold the door open for someone with their hands full. Hold the elevator. Ask someone how their day is going. Give someone a compliment. Send someone a card. Say thank you. We'd love to hear your stories. Post your stories to Facebook using the hashtag WCUPayItForward. Or you can email us your story at orgdev@wcupa.edu. I hope you gained some key takeaways from this program. Please don't hesitate to reach out to myself or Scott Sherman, the Director of Organizational Development, with any feedback or if you would like to discuss more about living a more positive lifestyle.